What if I told you that one of the farmers that I once interviewed spent 3 years planning his corporate exit strategy before he ever touched a seed tray? Today, I'm breaking down the exact financial strategy that Rob Kaiser used to transition from a six-figure corporate job to farming, and why his approach might be the smartest way to make this leap without going broke. Rob Kaiser was crushing it in corporate America. Here's what he told me.
I had turned 30, determined that it was going to be in my best interest to start a career and climb the proverbial corporate ladder. And I did that. And quite frankly, I did it well. But that left me longing for a lot more, because that's not what a lot of us are wired to do. There's a lot of things in that lifestyle that really aren't human anymore.
But success came with a cost. Here's what Rob told me about what his life actually looked like.
I spent so much time on the road, spent so much time in strategic planning meetings and tactical meetings, discussing the week and where we were with our accounts and how were our projections and all this stuff.
Then came the wedding that changed everything. When Rob reunited with old friends, he had a huge realization.
After going through several years of climbing the ladder, once I got my big boy job when I was in my early and mid 30s, I went to a wedding. And once I finally got out and reunited with friends from years past and saw where everybody was at a wedding, I realized, man, there's a whole lot more to life than chasing stuff, including but not limited to a job title, a career path, the company car, the bonus, the this, the that. There's relationships, there's people, there's community, there's life. When you get a taste of that after not having it for a long time, it hits you like a ton of bricks and really makes you evaluate some things that are going on in your life and where you're headed with your life.
Now here's where Rob got strategic. Instead of quitting immediately, like most people fantasize about, he created what I call the debt freedom formula. Here's how Rob describes it.
For me, the biggest part was reaching freedom in terms of finances. I needed to get out of debt, and I made some sacrifices to do that. I took extra jobs. I made some changes in my living situation. I did my best to live on a budget, which was a new thing for me. I never really hurt for much, but at the same time, I just had the general attitude of complacency. I just realized that for me, the best thing I could do was work towards becoming debt-free, and then that would provide me with a level of security that I never had.
Let me add some context here. According to the National Young Farmers Coalition, the average beginning market farmer starts with $87,000 in student debt alone. Rob knew he couldn't carry that into farming. He had to get completely debt-free first. Rob just didn't eliminate debt. He engineered a complete career transition. He strategically moved from big corporate to a smaller company.
Transitioned out of big corporate world job to working for a small, local, family-owned business. I don't travel like I used to. I still put in a lot of hours, but it's a dramatic step in the right direction.
Now here's the reality of what transition actually looks like in terms of hours. Rob breaks it down.
I broke this down into a spreadsheet and crunched some numbers. There's 168 hours in a week. Typically, I work anywhere from 50 to 60 hours at my full-time job. The amount of hours that I put into the farm and other little side ventures that I do is probably close to 20, 25 hours a week.
Let's be clear. That's 70 to 85 hours total per week he's working to build his future. This isn't a hobby. This is a calculated hustle. Rob didn't put all of his eggs into one basket. At the end of our conversation, he mentioned his business, Deliberate Living Systems, and indicated he has multiple side ventures running simultaneously with the farm. This approach is backed by hard data. USDA statistics show that 89% of farm households have off-farm income, averaging $71,000 annually. Rob's multi-stream approach isn't just smart, it's statistically the norm for successful farmers. But here's what really separates Rob from people who dream but never do: his realistic timeline expectations.
I'm just going to appreciate where I'm at and understand that it took me many, 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 many years to get to where I am now and to get to where I want to be. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen in a year, and it's probably not going to happen in 5. But if I approach it with tenacity, it's going to get there sooner than later.
That's not pessimism. That's realism that leads to success. Let's do the math. If Rob saves $30,000 per year through his debt elimination and savings strategy while working corporate, in 3 years, that's $90,000 in startup capital, enough to properly launch a farm without any debt. Compare that to jumping in with debt at 7% interest on $50,000 in loans. You're paying $3,500 annually just in interest before you sell a single tomato. Curtis Stone, who'd been farming for 6 years at the time of this recording, validated this hustle-first approach. He reflects on what built North America.
That's exactly what every successful entrepreneur or farmer that I know has done. It's what this nation was built on. It's what America and Canada were built on, are the hard-working immigrants that came into this country and worked their asses off and built something great.
Rob's strategy isn't sexy, but it works. Eliminate debt, create bridge income, build capital, then transition. As Rob told me, when people say you can't change the world,
I can't change the world, but I can change mine.
Start with your financial foundation, and the farm will follow. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Urban Farmer Rewind. If you want to listen to the full Urban Farmer episode and full-length interview with Rob, you can do so using the link below. Thanks for listening, and until next time, be nice, be thankful, and do the work.